Crypto is not a technology market. That belief is the first mistake. Technology is only the costume. The stage underneath is older than any blockchain collective psychology. Fear, desire, imitation, delay, regret. Crypto is not moved by code. It is moved by human weakness expressed at scale. Law 1. The winner doesn't ask, which coin? He asks, who is afraid? Beginners enter this arena asking the wrong question. They ask which coin is good, which project has fundamentals, which team is building for the future. They speak like engineers in a battlefield. They analyze tools while ignoring blood on the ground. Winners ask something else entirely. They ask where fear is forming. They ask whose hands are shaking. They ask who needs reassurance. Because money does not move toward intelligence. It moves away from panic. In crypto, price is not a reflection of value. It is a reflection of emotional pressure. When confidence concentrates, price inflates. When fear concentrates, price collapses. Charts are not mathematical objects. They are emotional timelines. This is why most people lose even when they are right. They study technology while trading psychology. They hold logic while the market rewards timing. They want certainty in a system designed to exploit hesitation. If Niccolo Machiavelli were to enter crypto, he would not open a chart first. He would not ask about white papers, roadmaps, or consensus mechanisms. He would watch the crowd. Silently, patiently, he would observe who speaks the loudest during rallies. He would note who suddenly disappears during crashes. He would measure fear not by words, but by urgency. Machiavelli understood something most traders refuse to accept. Power does not operate on truth. It operates on perception under pressure. Markets are no different. Crypto simply removes the last layer of politeness. When prices rise, people talk about vision. When prices fall, people reveal character. The winner does not chase opportunity. He positions himself where others cannot stand emotionally. He waits where participation feels humiliating. He enters where social approval has vanished. This is the first law. Not because it is clever, but because it is cruelly accurate. Crypto punishes those who seek reassurance. It rewards those who can sit inside fear without needing to explain themselves. The market does not ask whether you believe. It only asks how you react when belief collapses. Those who ask which coin are already late. Those who ask who is afraid are just beginning. The core illusion value does not control price. The most comforting lie in crypto sounds ethical, intelligent, and fair price reflects value. It allows people to believe the market is rational, that patience is rewarded, that truth eventually wins. This belief is not innocent. It is expensive. Price does not reflect value. Price reflects pressure. It reflects how many people expect something to happen, how badly they need it to happen, and how late they realize it will not. Price is the visible surface of invisible tension, fear, hope, urgency, and delayed realization compressed into a number. This is why people who understand technology still lose money. They study protocols, architecture, decentralization models, and long-term potential. They are correct on paper. They are irrelevant in motion. Markets do not pay for correctness. They pay for positioning. The market does not ask who is right. It asks who is trapped. When expectations are high, price inflates beyond reason. When expectations collapse, price falls below justification. Value remains largely unchanged, but price moves violently because emotion does. Technology does not panic. Humans do. This is also why people who understand nothing sometimes get rich. Not because ignorance is an advantage, but because timing can overpower comprehension. They enter before narratives harden. They exit before explanations arrive. They do not wait to be convinced. They act before the crowd agrees. The market rewards those who move before consensus, not those who explain consensus afterward. People confuse value with inevitability. They believe that if something is good enough, the market will eventually recognize it. This belief turns patience into paralysis. By the time recognition arrives, the advantage is gone. In crypto, truth is slow. Reaction is fast. Charts do not rise because technology improves. They rise because expectation expands faster than reality. They fall not because technology fails, but because belief cannot be sustained. Price is not a verdict on quality. It is a snapshot of collective emotional balance. Those who worship value wait for justice. Those who understand price read pressure. This illusion destroys more accounts than scams ever will. It convinces intelligent people to hold while momentum leaves, to average down while confidence evaporates, to explain losses instead of exiting them. Crypto is not immoral. It is indifferent. It does not punish ignorance or reward wisdom. It simply exposes who mistakes understanding for advantage. Value exists, but price obeys something else entirely. Law 2: never buy when you are praised, only buy when you are despised. Social approval is not a neutral signal. It is a mechanism. In markets, praise does not arrive to reward insight. It arrives to redistribute risk. Humans are wired to seek recognition. Being praised feels like safety. It signals that others agree, that you are not alone, that your decision has been socially validated. In everyday life, this instinct protects you. In crypto, it quietly destroys you. When a coin is widely celebrated, the danger has already shifted. The early risk has been absorbed. The uncertainty has been resolved. What remains is not opportunity, but transfer. The risk moves from those who entered early to those who arrive late seeking confirmation. Public enthusiasm is never free. Someone pays for it. This is the moment most people mistake applause for advantage. They see influencers praising, timelines filled with conviction, charts moving upward with confidence. They interpret attention as upside. In reality, tension is often the exit liquidity preparing itself. This is why Machiavelli warned against visible virtue in hostile environments. Public reputation creates predictability. Predictability invites exploitation. What is admired becomes targeted. What is celebrated becomes crowded. If Niccolo Machiavelli were watching crypto, he would treat praise as a warning, not a reward. He understood that public approval signals alignment, and alignment eliminates leverage. Once everyone agrees, no one has an advantage left. The crowd praises only when it needs reinforcement. Praise is a request disguised as admiration. It asks others to join, to validate, to carry the position forward. The louder the celebration, the more urgent the need beneath it. Buying during praise feels comfortable because it removes psychological friction. Buying during contempt feels dangerous because it isolates you. But isolation is where asymmetry lives. Contempt marks the zones others cannot tolerate emotionally. This law is not about being contrarian for its own sake. It is about understanding the timing of approval. Praise arrives after risk has been socialized. Disdain appears when uncertainty is still concentrated. Markets do not reward courage. They reward positioning before permission. When you are praised, you are late. When you are mocked, you may finally be early. This is why the winner learns to distrust applause and tolerate silence. He understands that admiration is rarely about truth. It is about distribution. The weak ego in crypto wanting to be right more than wanting to win. Most people do not lose in crypto because they lack intelligence. They lose because their ego needs moral justification. They need to feel right, principled, aligned with a story that makes sense of their decision. Winning is secondary. Self-respect comes first. This is the silent trap. Losers look for reasons to buy. Reasons that sound ethical. Reasons that can be defended in conversation. Strong teams. Strong vision. Strong beliefs. They do not want a position. They want a narrative they can live inside. Winners want something else. They want an exit. They do not ask why a coin should go up. They ask who will buy after them, and at what emotional cost. They do not attach identity to assets. They attach assets to timing. The moment belief replaces flexibility, the position becomes a prison. Belief feels powerful because it removes doubt. But in crypto, doubt is protection. Belief hardens decisions. It turns temporary positions into moral commitments. Once belief enters, selling feels like betrayal, not of the market, but of the self. This is why belief is lethal. Crypto does not reward loyalty. It does not reward conviction. It does not care how deeply you understand the mission. It only reacts to pressure. When belief locks you in place, the market simply moves without you. Good people suffer most here. Those who want to act correctly, who want to support innovation, who want to be on the right side of history. Crypto punishes them precisely because they confuse virtue with advantage. The market has no memory of intentions. Being right is irrelevant if you are positioned wrong. The weak ego seeks consistency. It wants its past decisions to remain valid. It explains losses instead of exiting them. It reframes drawdowns as tests of faith. This is how accounts die slowly. With dignity intact and capital gone, the strong ego does not need to be right. It needs to be adaptable. Crypto is cruel in this way. It strips morality from outcomes. It exposes the cost of emotional attachment. Those who want to be good stay longer than they should. Those who want to win leave before explanations arrive. This is not injustice. It is structure. Crypto does not punish people for being bad. It punishes people for being attached. Law 3. The crowd needs a story, not the truth. Narrative is the most powerful weapon in crypto. Not technology, not data, not truth. Story is what organizes emotion, and emotion is what moves money. Markets do not wait for facts. They wait for permission to feel. Narrative provides that permission. It tells people when to hope, when to fear, when to hold, and when to panic. Once a story takes hold, behavior follows automatically. This is why good news appears at the top, not because reality suddenly improved, but because optimism has reached saturation. By the time headlines turn positive, most of the buying has already occurred. The story arrives late to justify what price has already done. Bad news works the same way in reverse. It appears at the bottom, when fear needs a final reason to capitulate, not because the situation suddenly worsened, but because belief finally collapsed. The story does not cause the move. It seals it. Truth is slow. Narrative is fast. The losing trader asks the wrong question. Is this news true? He believes accuracy will protect him. He believes facts will anchor price. They do not. By the time something is provably true, it is usually useless for advantage. The winning trader asks a colder question. Who does this story activate? Does it calm holders who should be selling? Does it lure buyers who are already late? Does it scare weak hands into giving up positions? This is how narrative is used, not to inform, but to direct behavior. Crypto does not need lies to move. It needs timing. Even true information can be weaponized if released at the right moment. A positive development announced at the peak becomes distribution fuel. A negative event revealed at the bottom becomes accumulation camouflage. The crowd believes stories because stories reduce uncertainty. They offer meaning where there is none. They turn chaos into sequence. But markets exploit this need relentlessly. When people ask for truth, they are often asking for emotional relief. When they share narratives, they are often transferring risk. The winner understands this dynamic and steps outside it. He does not argue with stories. He does not try to correct them. He watches how they spread and who they affect. He lets others fight over meaning while he studies motion. In crypto, the story everyone agrees on is already priced in. The story everyone fears is usually where opportunity hides. This law is not cynical. It is observational. Markets are not governed by what is correct, but by what is contagious. Those who learn to read stories as behavioral signals stop being surprised by price. The truth can wait. Narrative cannot. Law 4. Exit before hope speaks. Hope is the latest signal in any market. It does not appear at the beginning of a move. It appears at the end, when most other options have already failed. By the time hope becomes loud, advantage has usually disappeared. Hope is not optimism. Optimism belongs to the early phase, when uncertainty is still alive. Hope belongs to exhaustion. It is what people reach for when evidence no longer supports confidence. But the ego refuses to accept loss. This is why hope is dangerous. In crypto, the phrase "hold for the future" rarely signals strength. It signals attachment. It is what retail says when momentum has left but belief remains. It sounds patient, mature, long-term. In reality, it often means the smart money has already exited quietly. Smart money does not announce departure. It does not debate narratives. It leaves while explanations are still forming. Retail stays behind to discuss vision, fundamentals, and patience. After liquidity has thinned, hope enters only when selling feels unbearable. This is where most people confuse endurance with discipline. They believe holding through pain is a virtue. They mistake suffering for strategy. But markets do not reward loyalty. They reward timing. Pain is not a badge of honor. It is feedback. If Niccolo Machiavelli were trading crypto, he would never pledge loyalty to an asset. Loyalty creates predictability, and predictability destroys leverage. He would remain loyal only to advantage, wherever it appears, and for as long as it lasts. Machiavelli understood that power comes from flexibility, not commitment. The moment you bind your identity to a position, you lose the ability to exit cleanly. Hope then fills the gap left by lost control. Hope tells you to wait when you should move. Hope tells you to endure when you should reposition. Hope tells you a story when you need an exit. The winner leaves before hope is required. He exits while reasons still exist, not after they are gone. He does not wait for reassurance. He does not wait for consensus. He understands that the market rarely rings a bell at the top, but it always whispers before it turns. Hope feels noble because it delays responsibility. It allows people to postpone action without admitting defeat. Crypto exploits this instinct mercilessly. Exit is not betrayal. Exit is precision. Those who wait for hope to save them usually discover too late that hope was never a strategy. It was a signal, one they learned to hear after the advantage had already moved on. The manipulative structure bull runs and bear markets are used to wash people out. Most people believe market cycles are natural. They imagine bull runs and bear markets as organic rhythms, like seasons that come and go without intention. This belief makes them passive. It makes them patient in the wrong moments and hopeful in the wrong ones. In crypto, cycles are not random. They are functional. Bull runs exist to reward those who entered when they were disliked, doubted, and isolated, when nobody wanted to talk about the asset, when participation felt embarrassing. Those positions are not glamorous. They are psychologically expensive. The bull run is the delayed payment for that discomfort. Everyone else arrives later, attracted by momentum, headlines, and social proof. They believe they are participating in growth. In reality, they are participating in distribution. The market needs volume at the top, and enthusiasm provides it. Bear markets serve a different purpose. They are not simply downturns. They are cleansing mechanisms. They remove those who cannot tolerate uncertainty without emotional support. Those who need reassurance, explanations, and constant affirmation do not survive long here. Bear markets wash out belief, patience, and identity. They grind rather than shock. Prices move sideways, hope fades slowly, and participation becomes tiring instead of dramatic. This is not an accident. Fatigue eliminates more people than fear ever could. There is no justice in this structure. There is only filtration. The idea of random cycles comforts people because it removes responsibility. It suggests that outcomes are timing-based luck. But markets are not casinos. They are selection systems. They continuously test emotional resilience, not intelligence. Those who cannot hold uncertainty without meaning are removed. Those who cannot act without approval are removed. Those who cannot exit without explanation are removed. What remains are not the smartest participants, but the least reactive ones. This is why most people experience every cycle the same way. They arrive late, suffer through volatility, exit near the bottom, and swear never to return until the next narrative forms. The structure remains. Only the participants change. There is no neutral phase in crypto. Every phase is doing work. Either it is attracting liquidity or eliminating it. Either it is rewarding early discomfort or punishing late attachment. Once you see this, cycles lose their mystery. They reveal their function. There are no random markets, only repeated elimination. Those who survive are not protected. They are simply compatible with the structure. Law 5. Always remain invisible. Never disclose your position. Visibility feels powerful, but in markets, it is a liability. The more visible a position becomes, the less control its holder retains. This is why truly wealthy participants do not display their wallets, their entries, or their exits. Exposure invites reaction, and reaction destroys leverage. Money prefers silence. When a position is public, it stops being flexible. Every move becomes performative. Every decision is judged. Exit turns into embarrassment. Holding turns into a statement. The market does not need to attack you directly. Social pressure will do the work for it. This is why influencers behave differently. A KOL cannot exit alone. He needs followers to enter with him. His position depends on visibility, because visibility creates liquidity. The audience is not a community. It is a mechanism. Praise brings people in. Confidence keeps them holding. Silence comes only after distribution is complete. Public positions are traps disguised as transparency. The moment you disclose a position, you place yourself inside the crowd's frame. You are no longer acting freely. You are managing expectations. You are defending consistency. Your decisions are no longer strategic, they are reputational. The market does not punish this immediately. It waits. Invisibility preserves optionality. When no one knows what you hold, you can exit without explanation. You can re-enter without contradiction. You can change your mind without apology. This freedom is not psychological comfort. It is structural power. If Niccolo Machiavelli were navigating crypto, he would never reveal his hand. Not out of secrecy, but out of precision. He understood that power weakens the moment it becomes predictable. What can be seen can be anticipated. What can be anticipated can be exploited. Machiavelli chose invisibility because it keeps others uncertain. Uncertainty delays reaction. Delayed reaction creates advantage. Those who speak loudly about their positions often believe they are influencing the market. In reality, they are anchoring themselves. They cannot exit early without admitting error. They cannot exit late without admitting failure. The position owns them. The invisible trader has no such constraints. He is not rewarded with attention, but with mobility. He is not admired, but he is intact. This law feels uncomfortable because it removes validation. There is no applause, no recognition, no audience. But crypto does not reward performance. It rewards execution. Those who seek to be seen sacrifice control. Those who choose silence keep it. In this arena, invisibility is not weakness. It is the last form of sovereignty. The execution model how Machiavelli would play crypto. When the 5 laws are combined, they do not form an investment strategy. They form a behavioral weapon. This is not about assets. It is about positioning inside human weakness. If Niccolo Machiavelli were to play crypto, his process would be brutally simple and psychologically demanding. First, he would observe emotion before price. Not indicators, not predictions, emotion. He would watch how people speak, not what they say. Urgency, defensiveness, overconfidence, moral outrage. These are signals. They reveal pressure. Price moves after pressure reaches imbalance. Second, he would position early, not loudly. Entry would occur when participation feels uncomfortable. When narratives are unclear, when social approval is absent, he would accept uncertainty as the cost of asymmetry. The goal would not be to be right, but to be early enough that reaction still matters. Third, he would never explain the position to himself through belief. No loyalty, no identity, no mission attachment. The asset would remain temporary, replaceable, a tool, not a cause. The moment belief hardens, flexibility dies. Fourth, he would exit before hope appears, not at the top, not with perfect timing, but before emotion changes character. He would leave while reasons still exist, not after they are exhausted. Exit would feel premature to others. That is precisely why it works. Finally, he would remain invisible throughout the process. No announcements, no guidance, no audience. Visibility creates obligation. Obligation destroys advantage. Silence preserves optionality. This model is psychological warfare applied to markets. It rewards those who can watch without participating, who can act without permission, and who can leave without applause. It is not for everyone. Those who need certainty will fail here. Those who need to be liked will fail here. Those who need moral alignment will fail here. Those who cannot tolerate isolation will fail here. Crypto is not democratic. It does not reward effort equally. It does not protect the sincere. It selects for specific psychological traits, emotional containment, timing sensitivity, and detachment from identity. The people who survive this model rarely look impressive while doing it. They do not sound visionary. They do not inspire confidence. They move quietly, early, and without explanation. Everyone else participates in the story. They debate narratives. They wait for confirmation. They hold for meaning. And meaning is expensive. This is not a game of intelligence. It is a game of pressure. Machiavelli would not try to outthink the market. He would let the market reveal who is weak and position accordingly. Final blade crypto does not kill you. You offer it your emotions. There will be no comfort here, no encouragement, no redemption arc. If you lost in crypto, it was not because you lacked knowledge. Information has never been scarce. Explanations were everywhere. Charts were available. Narratives were abundant. None of that saved you. What failed was not your intelligence. It was your position. You chose to stand where emotion was punished. You chose reassurance over leverage. You chose to feel right instead of being effective. The market did not deceive you. It responded to you. Crypto is not cruel. It is precise. It does not care what you believe. It does not care how long you waited. It does not care how much you studied. It simply amplifies reaction and penalizes delay. Those who hesitate donate liquidity. Those who attach donate time. Those who hope donate capital. Every loss follows the same structure. You waited for certainty. You listened for approval. You stayed when leaving felt embarrassing. None of these are moral failures. They are strategic ones. The market does not hunt victims. It waits for volunteers. It waits for those who need confirmation, who need meaning, who need to be aligned with a story before they move. Emotion is the entry fee. Once paid, the outcome is already decided. There is no fairness to appeal to, no future understanding that will reverse the result. Crypto does not remember who tried hard. It only records who reacted late. Those who survive do not feel safer. They feel colder. They learn to move without asking permission, to exit without justification, to act without belief. They stop negotiating with emotion and start treating it as a signal. This is the final truth. Crypto does not require your faith. It does not require your loyalty. It does not require your hope. It requires only one thing: that you react incorrectly, at the wrong moment. That is enough. The moment you stop offering emotion, the game changes. Until then, it does not need to defeat you. You will do it yourself.